Alright guys, so if you're watching this video, you're probably a video editor that just got onboarded onto Daybreak Collective and you're just curious on why our videos and your videos don't look the same and what separates it. So I'm going to be breaking down what makes our videos so good compared to yours and how we could get yours to look like ours. So let's get right into it. So the first thing is we're going to be breaking it down into modules. So for the first one, we're going to be starting off with all right, so we gotta break it down into the fundamentals. So aside from the video editing and all that, let's set it up in a way so you guys can understand in the future and so that teaching you new concepts is a lot easier. So the first thing we're gonna be talking about is what makes a good video editor and what does a video editor even do. So the most blatant and easy definition is this. All right, so this is all you're doing. Basically, you're just a storyteller, but it's just that storytelling looks very different to many wide audiences. Documentary filmmakers are storytellers. Cinematic movies, they're storytellers. Us making videos on social media, we're also storytellers. The only difference is that, for example, cinematic movie storytellers, people have already bought into their product to watch the movie. They already pay to watch it. But for our case, we have to convince people to watch our videos so that they could pay us money in the future. That's the biggest difference, number one. Also, the biggest misconception that I always see on social media is that you need cool effects, cool transitions, crazy animations to make a good video. That is simply not the truth. If anything, people shouldn't be commenting on the editing. They should be just so sucked in to the video that they don't even realize the edits. All right, so I just wrote down the most famous quote there is in video editing. And it says here, getting compliments mean you suck. Who says that? Me. So I'll tell you why I said this quote. Essentially, at the end of the day, you as a video editor, you are supposed to immerse people into the video. Whether you use VFX, sound effects, the music in the background, the text, there's so many ways to immerse somebody in the video. And so that if they are taking a step back and noticing the edits that you're doing, then you already have failed step number one, which is immersion. You have failed. And that's why if you get compliments on the edit, that means you're doing something wrong. All right, so this is how you track if you're doing a good job at video editing. This is all it is. That's all. Think about it this way. Clients are paying you. Clients are paying you money to make videos. So why would they pay you to not make you any money in return? Think about that. The economics does not work. Or why would they pay you money? Let's say they pay you $4 grand a month to make you videos. If those videos are not making them more than $8,000 per month, it is useless to them. Because if they pay you $4,000 per month to make videos and you only make them $4,001 at the end of the month, they are going to shit can you. Because at the end of the day, there's too much risk involved for them trusting you to make more money in return. Because what if you have an off day where you only make $3,999? What if you make $0? Then they are down $4,000 and they took on that risk. So that is why the only reason you are making videos is to make conversions. I guarantee you, any client that you work with is selling something. There is no way they're just hitting you up without selling anything, because at the end of the day, posting content is a business. All right, the secondary important things are, all right, so first let's tackle the second one. I don't know why I wrote it as the second one. I should have just wrote it as the first one, but fuck you. So the secondary way to measure how well your video did is how many leads did print. Why is it important? Because that is how you get conversions. How are you going to convert people if you have no people that are interested to begin with? So that is step number one, get leads. But how do we get leads? People that finish the entirety of the video. That is your main job. You need to make a video where people are watching it till the end. And I will break down how you make a video where people finish 100% of the video. All right, and also another thing too, going back to the storytelling thing, they could be the most boring people ever. We have a client, he is so boring, and he knows it. But it is our job to either enhance it or use their personality as their advantage. This is a prime example I always tell that client is, for example, pop up Sam Sulek right here. Sam Sulek, I guarantee you, if you're an average male from 18 to maybe 25-year-old, you have watched at least one of his videos. And I'll tell you right now, his videos, boring as fuck. But he still cultivates millions of views. Why? Because he uses the boringness to his advantage. Now, the fact that he doesn't have any edits, it makes him feel more raw, you know? It makes him more personable. It feels like you're just talking to him one-on-one, or in fact, he's just talking to you, right? But if he had crazy animations going around, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So either, when you're enhancing the story, either play to the advantage or just emphasize shit. Now, the main reason why you have to enhance your story is because you're competing with like trillions of other people competing for the same amount of people that you're going after. The average person on a regular day probably watches like 80 reels and they skip over like at least 70% of them. So it is your job to actually make sure that you get their attention opposed to, you know, one of their client's competitors. Also another one, pop up this graph here. So the graph is probably talking about how Instagram, Meta, just the entire Meta suite actually, is that they have reached and saturated all the people on that platform. So what that means is no new people are coming in. So now these people are always just getting saturated all the time. So it is your job to stand out to get these people that are spending money on these platforms. Another thing I want to say is maybe 10 years ago when Instagram first came out, you could get away with just talking like this, selling somebody. That's how the environment was, because nobody was used to crazy, you know, converted ads. But now those people that were once easily sold by just me standing right here talking about the product that I sell, it's not the same anymore. They have adapted to the current market where they need to be sold in a high level way. And we just need to adapt to the times.